out your sleigh. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line.
Yeah, there's going to be basic principle. It would include everyone in principle from, let's say, 16 to 55 years of age. And then it would allow for anyone who was outside of those parameters, at least at the upper level, to volunteer for the system. And then it would give certain exemptions to people who were in public office, say judges or whatever, and certain people who were in private occupations where they had, say, hospital, all right, working in medical services. Then everyone would have to be armed and trained in different ways, and that's where you get into the one size doesn't fit all, because the training might depend upon local conditions. So if you're dealing, let's say, with Louisiana, we have the Mississippi River, New Orleans, the problems of levees and so forth and so on. Obviously, one important part of the Louisiana militia would be people being trained in some kind of service units, construction units or whatever, that would deal with that particular problem, keep their eye on that problem, apparently better than the U.S. Corps of Engineers has done, right? If you're living in other areas, you're going to have other problems to deal with. Now, the picture that comes to my mind now, let's take Virginia, for instance. Statute that I have in mind here would say as following. The state passes this militia revitalization bill, and it authorizes each one of the counties, or some of the larger cities, I mean, places like Richmond, to set up a militia committee of safety. And the purpose of this organization would be, at the county level, to be the governmental entity that oversees the operation of the militia. And it would consist of some number of the county supervisors, the chief law enforcement officer, the county, 4 or 5 of these elected officials or appointed officials would be in this group, plus the leaders of the militia units that were formed. And then we'd form militia units initially on the basis of what used to be called independent companies, because we don't want to scare people right away. So we let people simply volunteer into this. And if you don't want to volunteer into it, you pay some amount of money as an exemption. Pay $50 a year as an exemption. Then you don't have to perform. Otherwise, you volunteer. And what we want you to do in your independent company is to structure yourself on one of whatever, 20 different possibilities. You could be a medical services company, you could be a police company, you could be a building, construction company, whatever it is. And then we'll leave some blank spaces down there. If you come up with a better idea, fill it in. And then after you've organized yourselves this way, maybe you have 50 people or 60 people, whatever, you come to the County Committee of Safety. Here's our petition. We've done this. These are the people that are organized. Here's what we're going to do. Here's our training program. Here's the kind of equipment that we're going to get, we think we need. And we want you, the County Committee of Safety, to authorize this. County Committee of Safety signs on. This was actually done, not in Virginia, it was done in Rhode Island. Rhode Island was one of the examples of this happening all the time.
When was it?
In the colonial period, up to the constitutional period, and then thereafter as well. So through the independent company structure, we now find out the best way in each county to organize people. What kind of people do we need? How should we organize? How many do we need? How many do we need? How should they be organized? And we do this through essentially volunteers at this point, because we don't want necessarily to bring everybody, we don't need everybody right away to do this. And we don't want to alienate a lot of people who aren't ready to perform this function. And if they're willing to pay $25 to get out or $50 a year to get out, that's fine. Where does that money go? It goes to the militia group. So now the militia group has this money to buy equipment, to get to training facilities and what have you. And then we determine that the best way to organize a militia group or for the purposes in Warren County, Virginia, which is where we are now, is this way. And over in Clark County, it's different. And Fairfax County, it might be slightly different and what have you.
It's based on the needs of the county.
It's based on the needs of that county. Now then, also on there's certain state considerations. Now, at the end of some period of time, let's say a year, you have the County Committee of Safety writes a report based on what they did, and they send this back to the State Committee of Safety. And the State Committee of Safety looks at that and says, aha, on the basis of this, we think we should amend this state statute to provide for this and this and this and this. And now that we have all this up, we're going to increase the exemption fee from $50 to $250. We're going to force more people into this. And we're going to tell those people that they have to take a Red Cross first aid. We're now going to start laying these things out, which everybody has to do. So that at some stage down the line, maybe it'll be 5 years, maybe 10 years down the line, this country is going to look, this state let's just say the state of Virginia, if we were the only ones that did it, we're going to look as well prepared as Switzerland for any kind of emergency. We don't care what it is. Natural disaster, epidemic, economic collapse, attack by the Chinese, you name it. We're going to be as well prepared as we could be. We may not have nuclear weapons to retaliate, but otherwise we're going to be as well prepared at the state and local level as we could be. Food security, medical security, police security, we're going to have that. None of which we have now. I should say police security, we have some of that, but not at the right level, and they're depending too much on Washington in any event. We're going to have that in this state. It will be maybe different in Nebraska, maybe different in Massachusetts, California, what have you. But at some stage down the road, this country is going to be completely organized for any kind of problem that would arise. And it's going to be organized from the bottom up, not from the top down.
RestoreTheRepublic.net and TakeBackWashington.com are two key places to join the fight, the info war against the New World Order. You've seen the film. You understand the 10th Amendment, the difference between a republic and a democracy. Now get out there and get involved in organizations of like-minded Americans that understand the left-right paradigm is a fraud. And for more news and information, to track what the globalists are up to and how people are countering them worldwide, visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Thank you for watching Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. This film and other documentary films that are out there are vital to getting the word out to the people of the world to understand the type of global system that's being set up. That's why the establishment is moving to censor the internet and censor alternative press and films, because we are kicking their butts together. And this film goes a long way towards realizing that dream of liberty and freedom and a republic in our time. Great job to the filmmakers, and great job to all you out there that are going to spread this film to the four winds.